Hello, my friends. My name is Darren Gerdes, and this is a daily brief. It is Sunday, May 19th, 2024. The battlefield is still extraordinarily hot here. 1,210 Russians off the battlefield, 16 tanks, 35 armored combat vehicles, 48 artillery pieces, 82 vehicles and fuel tanks. So it's cooking. And as I was thinking about this, I'm like, okay, we're getting up toward 500. Whoa, where are we? 492, 290. Now, people will ask, well, is that an exact count? No, it's not an exact count. It's probably close, though. I mean, in the sense of like as the battlefield ticks up or as the battlefield ticks down, you see these numbers tick up and down with like Andrew Perpetua's math as well. But let's look at this: 492, 290. That would be 500,000 minus that is 7,710. There's been north of 1,000 Russians off the battlefield every day for the last couple weeks, given like maybe one day not, right? So that means that with this math, it is now May 2024, so it's the 19th. I think by the 25th, you'll see 500,000. I said by the end of the month, and then I revised it to the 27th or 28th, but I think now it's going to be this Saturday that you'll see Russians pass 500,000 casualties, eliminated personnel off of the battlefield. Okay, that's just amazing. Andrew Perpetua's numbers yesterday, about 3-1, which is good. Once you get past about 3-1, it's great for the Ukrainians as far as what losses they're inflicting on the enemy as opposed to what losses they're taking. Um, Yesterday, he made this comment. This isn't about today. Yesterday was a slow news day. And he said, how do we get to the point where 220 videos is a slow news day? I feel like the amount of content in Ukraine is growing so fast that collecting and tracking it is getting really hard, especially because so many other public resources have disappeared. And Andrew Perpetua does incredible work, and if you care and about what he's doing, these efforts where he collates this and want to buy him a cup of coffee, that would be money well spent. He's done some amazing stuff. Okay. The ISW reports that Russian forces are likely preparing for a second phase in their offensive in northern Kharkiv Oblast. Remember, they've taken this little territory here and here, and they're working their way down. Here's Kharkiv, and they've taken this ground here. Now, I don't get it because I'm watching Anders Puck Nielsen yesterday, and he said something that I was like, yeah, that's right. Okay, so the Ukrainians have just been stretched by the Russians, like to have this area that they have to defend around Kharkiv. But when you stretch them, you stretch yourself at the same time. And so there's like 35 to 50,000 Russians up here. So the front lines and the normal front lines are also stretched thin. And everything that we know about a military manual would say, no, you have to concentrate force in order to break through. You don't stretch yourself thin. But that's what they're doing. It's a very weird thing to watch. So what's the plan? We don't know. They might have a bad plan. So, okay, that's somewhat comforting to see. All right. In the meantime, Ukrainians air defense shoot down all 37 Shahed UAVs launched by Russia, but they didn't say anything about missiles. So let's think about this. Were missiles fired? Yes, missiles were fired. Air defense shot down an enemy missile over Kyiv, and then there were some that attacked a playground in Kharkiv. Okay, so the Russians don't seem to care how targeted their missiles are because part of this is also terror. It can be indiscriminate, and so that's part of the package. It's currently known that 5 people have been killed, 8 injured. But yeah, they attacked a playground here. Maybe not meaning to attack a playground, but nonetheless, 2 enemy missiles hit a recreation center near Kharkiv. According to the head of the community, 5 people died, 16 wounded. And that's just the way that the Russians roll, which is one of the reasons that if you're supporting Russia, you got to ask yourself, why is that okay? Jane Kiev said, now the Ukrainians are also hitting back in a significant way. I mean, very significant way here last night. In what must be Ukraine's largest attack on Crimea to date, explosions covering essentially every main Russian military hotspot in the peninsula in the past hour. And this was yesterday, looking at yesterday at 6 p.m. Last night into today. So they're 5 hours or 6 hours ahead of us, depending on, I mean, I'm on East Coast United States time. And so, well, actually 7 hours, I think, ahead of 6, 7, whatever it is, ahead of us. So that would be into like midnight-ish kind of hours. Okay. Russia's forces shot down 9 U.S. attack. Well, they say they shot down 9 U.S. attack missiles over Crimea and at least 60 drones over Russian sovereign territory. Well, of course, they include all the annexed areas, Russian sovereign territory, but they say that they've done this. Now, what did they shoot down? Well, they apparently hit, the Ukrainians apparently hit this Minesweeper Kovorovets, and it's at least damaged. We don't know exactly what's happened here. We'll look at it a little bit more. This is from the Black Sea Fleet of Project 266M. Here's an article that helps us understand some. Ukraine's Navy says it destroyed Russian Sea Minesweeper Kovorovets overnight. And again, this isn't confirmed, but the Ukrainians say that this has happened, and Russia, of course, they've shot everything down. Ukraine's Navy said on May 19th that it destroyed Russian minesweeper Kovorovets overnight, refuting Moscow's earlier claims of having repelled strikes in occupied Crimea. Earlier on May 19th, Moscow claimed that it had shot down 9 U.S.-provided long-range ATACMS Army Tactical Missile System missiles and a drone over Crimea. Ukraine's Navy has not elaborated on how the reported strike was carried out. The Sea Minesweeper Kovorovets, with a crew of 68 people, belong to the Project 266 class, known as NATO as the Yurka class. The Soviet origin class detects mines up to 150 meters deep and has two 30-millimeter AK-230M naval guns with a high-resolution Lynx radar installed. Okay, so, sinking a ship. It's not the greatest ship. It's not the Moskva, but a ship's a ship. I think that's great that they were able to have attacked that successfully. But of course, the Russian Navy says they, knocked everything down. Oh, okay. Russian oil refinery in Slavyansk-on-Kuban is on fire this morning, again after Ukrainian drone strikes. So again, it was a very busy night in a sense. Where is that? It's just on the other side of the Kerch Bridge. Here's the Kerch, and here's Slavyansk-on-Kuban. Okay. In Vyborg, local residents reported a powerful explosions at an oil depot, but the regional authorities claim it was pyrotechnics. Okay, yeah, that's a great idea to have pyrotechnics over an oil depot. Where is that? This is interesting. Vyborg is right on the Finnish border, just above St. Petersburg, and that's interesting. War is a way of learning geography for Americans, so I didn't know where Vyborg was. I do know now. Okay, and last little bit, an almost daily occurrence now, trains of fuel continuing to derailing all over Russia, and there's multiple examples of that. Last little bit, I talked about this for a week, and I'm not talking about, again, like going back into it, but the final total, well, not final total, because anybody can still contribute, is $1,153,980.86 as of this morning for the Bro birthday fundraiser, and there's all kinds of other fundraisers going on simultaneously. If you want to go look at the Help 99 patch page, and the shills are almost to their 18,000 right now, and there's a number of these others going on. So please look at that. Now, if you have given to any of these campaigns, or in fact, if you have given to any support for Ukraine whatsoever, and you have a receipt, you can become a NAFO fella just by sending a fella request to nafo.ofan.org, and just Google how to become a NAFO fellow, or make me a NAFO fellow. What did I become a NAFO fella is what I typed in, and the first thing that pops up is how to become a NAFO fella. I showed this yesterday, but here's my NAFO fella. I had my graduation cap, and I asked for a sweater vest because I'm kind of like that. I like my sweater vests. And what do you think? Okay, anyway, thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes. Thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.